Hey guys, Mike Bills here with Measurable Solutions, and I wanted to just come to you today. It's about 11:45 on Thursday. So we're really kind of seeing some things beginning to shift in this whole COVID-19 thing, right? So we started out, everybody was really scared, really afraid. The news was telling us to be afraid. We all of our patients started to listen to that, started to kind of lock things down. With the exception of a few states in the middle of the country, everything kind of locked down. And so as business owners, we may or may not have been continuing to promote and market over the course of the last month. And I think what we're starting to see now, from my viewpoint, is things are kind of leveling out. And we're starting to see that, in general, the public is a little bit more calm with what's going on. The bad news isn't as bad in the news every day. We're actually hearing some things about some good news and things that are happening, et cetera, right? And so now we need to start to, if we haven't had our attention on marketing and promoting our practice and the services that we provide, we definitely need to start to turn our minds and our way of thinking as practice owners to that. And so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today was basically just how to start marketing and promoting, maybe now if you've stopped, or new if you've been doing things or have done things in the past, and how to really take COVID-19 into account and really start to think about it. Whether you're going to stick with telehealth or e-visits over the course of the coming weeks, or you're going to try to start to open back up and get more patients back in, regardless, we need to be promoting in a somewhat different fashion than how we really were promoting and marketing before. And so what we really want to start to look at is, what are the problems and the issues that our potential patients may have? And so we need to start to talk to our patients. It's gonna take a lot more to build trust with people, whether they've been to us before or they've never seen us before. We're going to start to need to build trust, new trust, more trust with them than we've had with them in the past. And so what we've got to do is we've got to start to look at ways to build rapport, build trust with our patients, and that's really going to come in through a process of what I kind of call educomoting. It's a combination of educating and promoting. And so we've got to start educating patients that it's okay that they're having problems, whether it's neck pain because they're working at the dining room table or the kitchen table from home, or back pain because they've been home and they're starting to do all kinds of yard work that maybe ordinarily they wouldn't have done as much of at one point in time, at one time, or maybe they've started walking and they're having plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendon problems or knee problems or whatever it might be, right? So we want to start to educate them on problems and the signs and symptoms of problems that they're having. And then we want to be promoting to them that there's a solution to that. And hey, by the way, it's physical therapy. Ask yourself this question. If you give somebody, let's just say I've started a walking program. My wife and I are going for a walk every evening. We're taking the dog, and I'm starting to have problems in my Achilles. Let's say my calves are starting to get real tight. My Achilles tendon is starting to get real tight and sore, and I'm starting to have to cut back on how much I'm walking. And if you gave me stretches that you showed me how to do online or whatever, what do you think happens with that? Do you think that I'm going to be like, oh, I should give these guys a call and see if they can fix my problem? Or do you think that if I'm the potential patient, I'm like, oh, cool, I can now stretch my own Achilles and the problem is going to go away? And you have to ask yourself, what's your viewpoint on that? And I'm not necessarily going to tell you one way is better than the other, but look at it from the standpoint of, we want to be educating them that there's a problem, and we want to be promoting whatever we believe to be the best solution to that problem. So we don't want to talk to people directly about, hey, here's physical therapy and this is what we do, as much as we want to talk to people about, hey, here's the problem that you might be having. If you're having this problem, these are the potential causes. Oh, hey, by the way, here are some things that can be done. Physical therapy being those things, whatever that is, manual, stretching, exercise, whatever it might be. And keep it as kind of a mystery sandwich, right? I'm not necessarily, in my viewpoint, going to tell you what the calf stretches are, but I'm going to tell you that you could have a lot of tightness and a lot of inflexibility, lack of flexibility in your legs, and that would really need to be addressed, and we would need to figure out what it was, etc. And then I can funnel them from a promotional standpoint. I can funnel them in one of two ways. If I'm doing telehealth or I want them to call me and I just talk to them, again, I'm trying to build and establish a rapport and trust with these people, because they're not going to come running out of their house to me right away just because they're having calf and Achilles pain. And the same would be true for somebody that's been to me before. they need to now be reminded that, hey, I'm a safe place, we're clean, we're sterile, here's what we're doing to keep ourselves that way. And those are the people that are going to start to come back out to us first. So again, we're funneling people off of this educomote process into educating them and promoting to them a solution. And it's not going to be they hear it one time and they take action. It's going to be they hear it a number of times. And so we've got to talk about what are the causes, not what exactly needs to be done, but general things that need to be done so that they reach out to us. Because again, what we want to do is get in communication with these people and find out what are the problems they're having. How is it affecting them so that we can then decide what is the process we want to take? Well, you know what? I'll email you a video of how to stretch your calves. Let's do that. I'll follow up with you in 2 or 3 days and see how you're doing. That might be the process. Or, hey, sign up through this link to do a telehealth visit. I'm going to have you do some motions and check some things, and I'm going to give you exactly what it is that you need. And either one of those could lead to, or initially you just funnel that right person right to having them come into the office. But again, if you get in communication with them, they're going to start to feel trusting of you. They're going to start to feel comfortable with you. And that's when they're going to start to reach out. So we need to start to look at approaching this from a much different standpoint. 2 months ago, if somebody had back pain, they'd call you up, they'd come in the next day. But now, there's a lot of barriers that we have to get through, and they have to see you, they have to feel comfortable with you, they don't know you, they associate your office, if they've never been to you before, they might associate your office with being the same as the grocery store. I don't want to go there, I don't want to touch anything, I'm going to use my elbows to steal their cart, whatever it might be. And so we want to make sure that we're getting those people to understand what it is that we're doing and how it is that we're doing things so that they start to feel comfortable with us. Now, how we promote to past patients is going to be a little bit different than how we promote to people that have never been to us before. But basically, via channels, via email, social media, letters, phone calls, whatever it might be, those are all things that we can be putting into effect right now, starting to get our staff to be active with and doing so that, again, we're building that rapport and we're really creating that mystery sandwich of, hey, what could that be? Because we want that person reaching out to us to go, all right, so I've been having this problem. My wife and I are walking for a couple of days. My calves are starting to bother me. What can I do for it? And that's where you start that conversation and you decide, do you want to just give them the stretch or do you want to do the telehealth or have them come into the office? But we want to start to look at how do we start to market and promote ourselves in a different situation now than it really ever was before. People are going to need a lot more convincing and a lot more trust and a lot more data before they start to come to us. So I want you to take a look at how you're promoting and how you're communicating with patients. If you're not doing anything, then let's get something started. If you're doing something, then let's look at how do we start to funnel people in? Because my belief is somewhere around the beginning of May, middle of May, people are going to start to feel more comfortable coming out, whether it's with a mask on and gloves on or nothing or whatever it might be based on where we live. But they're going to start to be tired of being cooped up in their house. They're going to want to get those problems taken care of, but they're going to need to know that that's a problem and that it's a problem that can be solved and that it's a problem that can be solved by physical therapy. Because they're at home looking stuff up on Google. Dr. Google is telling them, well, just stretch their calves. And that's the first action they're going to take because it's the least invasive, it's the easiest, it requires the least confront on their part. And we want to get those people calling us and reaching out to us. And we've got to start to get some information going out to people now. So, by the way, I'm doing a webinar today exactly on this topic. You can click on the link in the short description there and get to that. I'm going to do a webinar today at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for Measurable Solutions. It's about running your practice during COVID-19, and the main thing that we're going to focus on today is marketing and how to promote and get patients coming back in that maybe stopped coming a couple of weeks ago, or people that have been to us in the past, or people that have never been to us before. But again, I want you to start to, now that things are settling down, you got all your applications filled out for different loans, etc. I want you to start putting your attention on how are you going to start to get the census back up, whether it's a telehealth census, whether it's an in-office census right now tomorrow, whether it's an in-office census 2 months from now, whatever it might be. I want you to start putting your attention on that. So start to think about and plan out what are the things that I need to be doing from a promotion standpoint. I tell you, from my viewpoint, what we do in my office is we take that educomote process and we really put it into play. And our goal is educate people about the problems, teach them that what's going on and why it's happening, show them that there's a solution to it. And oh, hey, by the way, that solution is physical therapy right here at our clinic. Give us a call. Let's talk about your problem. Respond to this email. Let's talk about your problem. And before you know it, people will start reaching out. They'll start to get comfortable with you. You then show them videos or pictures of you guys wearing masks and gloves and cleaning everything, etc. And all of a sudden, maybe a week or two down the road, they're all of a sudden comfortable coming out and getting things checked out and things like that. So again, join us for the webinar this afternoon. It's at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about marketing and other things to be managing in your practice during this whole COVID-19 thing. I think things are kind of settling down a little bit across the board, kind of regardless of where you are in the country. And we need to start to think about how are we going to start to promote and come back out of this on the other side so that we have patients that are reaching out to us, because all of these government loans and funds aren't going to last forever, and we're going to have to get ourselves going and take ourselves from the 25 or 30% census that we're at right now and get ourselves ramped back up to where we were before. And it's going to take a lot of effort, and now's the best time to really be planning out, what do I need to do? How do I do that? Who are the people I'm going to go after first? And we're going to talk about who are the people you're going to go after first? Who are the people the best to spend that money on right now? And we're going to make sure that we're getting those things in place so that whether they come to us tomorrow or they come to us in a couple of weeks or June 1st or whatever it is, when we're ready to go, we've got that system already running. We can't wait to turn the water on for it to get hot. We want it to be hot right away when we're ready to go. So again, start to think about what do you need to do in order for that to happen. Join us for the webinar this afternoon. You're going to get some great information from that as well. And then you can get yourself marketing and promoting and getting your practice back up and running and or keeping it running throughout the course of this whole COVID-19. I hope you guys are healthy. I'll come back to you tomorrow with a different topic to think about as business owners. But in the meantime, join us for that webinar and start thinking about marketing and promoting. Take care.